Hi there, I'm Emma Walton, an assessment consultant with Pearson. This video series is designed to walk you through the benefits of a digital model, introduce you to our digital platforms, as well as guide you through the implementation process and subscription options. This is the first video, which will do an overview of the benefits to adopting a digital model, whether that is in a school district or private practice setting. A digital model brings many benefits both on and off the screen. I will discuss all of these in light of how that benefits the student or client and all of those in the support team. With a digital model, we see reduced error in both administration and scoring. Our digital platforms are automated and dynamic, designed specifically to guide the clinician through their assessment, as well as minimize the components that they are managing. This results in reduced error in administration, which we also see in scoring as assessments are digitally scored and reported. Not only are assessments more accurate overall, but this means that they are more defensible as a result. In line with this point, we see increased efficiencies, that is, more efficient assessment workflows, less time needed to administer the measures themselves, and significant reductions in the time it takes to complete scoring and reporting. This benefits everyone from the student or client all the way up to the district or clinic, in that there is less time taken to complete assessments, less resources needed to complete them. Focusing again on the clinician or examiner, they have immediate and 24/7 access to their resources. You are no longer as dependent on shipment times or waiting for paper materials to deliver. Further, with that 24/7 access, these digital platforms can be logged into anytime, anywhere, whether that's on site, at home, or traveling between assessment sites. Utilizing a digital model allows for remote on-screen administration, telepractice, as well as social distancing during in-person assessment when that's important. A digital model provides you with more ways to complete an assessment, thus allowing you to be more dynamic depending on your needs as a district or clinic, but importantly, also depending on the needs of the client, student, caregiver that you are working with. In allowing you to be more dynamic, we are promoting access for the student, for the client, and those that are a part of their caregiving team. With the ability to be more dynamic in how we provide them forms or components of their assessment, we are able to provide them these things in a way which is more accessible to them. In addition to greater access, we also see improved engagement in our assessment, again, across the board. Whether this is in the case of a youth or a student during an interactive assessment, or as an example, a parent completing their report form more accurately, more effectively, and finally, whether that's with the clinician. So in the reduced components to their assessment, they are more able to attend to the student across from them and put more engagement into that individual that's sitting across from them. Going more deeply into the materials side of things, optimized transport and footprint of materials. This means less paper material required, less that's being ordered, shipped, stored, tracked, toted around between assessments and carried. Not only is this a more sustainable model and more in line with green initiatives, but this is also significantly easier from an inventory management perspective. It is easier to check current inventory, generate usage reports, distribute inventory across your examiners. So allocating resources straight from your desk and device, as opposed to, for example, distributing paper manuals or kits across every school in the district. Throughout schools and districts, but also clinics, we see and hear a lot of reports about increased recruitment and retention of staff. Individuals are seeking out workplaces where there are digital models, and they are more likely to practice there longer. In addition to this staff longevity, we see material longevity, meaning that materials are more robust. For example, a paper manual can be lost or torn or worn down over time. We do not see this with digital materials. They are also more readily protected and more in line with your confidentiality requirements. While there are numerous benefits that I've highlighted to a digital model, the last couple here that I'll highlight: budget predictability and versatility. This ties back in with our inventory management. It is much easier to predict our spend based on past quantities. There is also a budget versatility here. So with a digital component, digital model, your components that you're purchasing are often more generalizable or can be used for numerous assessments, unlike in paper administration where the item that you purchase is specific to a certain assessment. I'll explain this more in video 2 as we talk about how the platforms themselves work. For now, the important takeaway is that there is a greater versatility to your spend and your budget. Finally, determined by you. This refers to the entire digital model as a whole. With a digital model, this is customizable, not only in the manner in which you're administering, so thinking back to that remote on screen versus telepractice versus in person, not only from that perspective, but in general, this is customizable. You can go all digital where applicable. You can have a hybrid model if in some areas it benefits you to continue manually administering, but pairing that with digital scoring. That is determined by you. The last piece here that I'd like to highlight in terms of determined by you is the access. You determine what materials your users are accessing, which manuals or stim books or assessments you are granting that access, and you have control over that. With a digital model, the platforms that you're using are designed to have an ease of use and be very readily implemented throughout your district or practice. There are a number of resources available to you online, embedded within the systems themselves, as well as through your assessment consultants. All of these resources are there to provide you with support and answer questions at every step of the process, whether that's in the initial stages of determining what type of digital model works best for you, questions about ordering and setting up accounts, or specific questions relating to specific assessments. All of these resources are designed to provide you with supports. There are webinars, video tutorials, a resource library, as well as a help directory where you can search specific questions and read articles according to your needs, and an IT support line that is dedicated to Q Global and Q Interactive. Of course, whether you are digitally administering or manually administering through print, you have access to your assessment consultant, and we're always happy to answer your questions or guide you through these resources. In part 2 of this video series, I will discuss and explain our 2 digital platforms. For the time being, I will briefly introduce these 2 videos to help you determine if you want or need to proceed to video 2. Q Interactive is an app-based system designed for interactive assessments that are being completed in a one-to-one administration format. It relies on 2 iPads as well as a Bluetooth connection. Q Interactive was very specifically designed to reduce the components that an examiner needs during their testing process. By reducing the components that they're managing, we're increasing the efficiency and the accuracy of their assessments. Q Global is the partner in crime of Q Interactive. However, it is a separate and different system. Q Global is utilized for assessments that are self-administered or proctored. So, for example, sending out a BASC-3 form. Importantly, Q Global is also used for digital scoring and reporting. You would do this in the case of a manual administration where you wanted to input your raw scores to Q Global and have that digitally scored and reported for you. Both of these systems give you access to digital resources, such as manuals, depending on either what has been enabled on your account or what you've purchased. In part 3 of this video series, I will go over the subscription options that are available to you, as well as steps to implementing a digital model. Again, I will briefly introduce the subscriptions options here in order to help you determine if you need or want to proceed to video 3 as well. Districts and practices have the option of going with a pay-per-use model, meaning that they purchase assets and inventory as needed. Districts have the additional option of going with the Digital Assessment Library, or the DAL, as you'll hear it called. The Digital Assessment Library is a great option for districts looking to promote equitable access for their students and provide them equitable access to supports and assessment. In this case, this is an unlimited account. You have unlimited use for unlimited examiners to over 40 of our gold standard measures. And as mentioned, I will go into the details of both of these different options in the part 3 video of this series. If you have any questions about the benefits to a digital model and need any support in determining if a digital model is right for you, please reach out to your assessment consultant. For more information and a demonstration on the digital platforms Q Interactive and Q Global, please proceed to video 2. And for more information on implementation and subscription options, please proceed to video 3.